All right, so Charlie Cox reassures the fans that Daredevil won't become a slapstick MCU character. I'm calling BS on this because he on one part of the interview says he hasn't read the script yet, so there's no way for him to know that.
Really?
Yes.
He's also said that it's going to be totally different. It has to be a season 1 and not a season 4,
Yes.
right? So
So,
I mean,
fun fact: when I was talking to Tim about this initially, he's like, "They're bringing Daredevil to Charlie Cox can play Daredevil again in Disney Plus." I'm like, "Doesn't matter because it's Disney Plus. It won't be the same. They won't be allowed to hold the same tonal quality as the Netflix show did. The Netflix show was incredibly brutal, incredibly dark. I would almost guess that the first thing to go will be a heavy focus on the religious themes.
For sure.
For the character of Daredevil, Matt Murdock is a Catholic, and he's very religious, and that plays as a through line for his moral compass and his motives
Have
throughout
you heard of Catholicism?
yeah, heard
No,
of
okay,
it.
okay.
It's
Heard of it.
It's kind of like IRL. It's this little thing.
Yeah.
Little thing.
Some people have heard of. So it says Charlie Cox will make his return as the Man Without Fear in Daredevil Born Again, marking the actor's first official entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He did have a cameo in Spider-Man: No Way Home. I even that cameo was clearly supposed to be played for laughs because it's Marvel and
I
everything.
didn't hate that though.
I'm
No,
scared
it was
for
fun.
this She-Hulk cameo they've got coming up.
So they've got a cameo with him coming up there. And just the first thing that came to my mind was, first of all, they're using the name Daredevil Born Again, which is based on a very, very famous comic run from, who was it? It was the same dude who did The Dark Knight.
Frank Miller.
So there's a Frank Miller run. Of course, it's a bad start today. I can't remember.
It's okay.
everything. That's okay. So
Wait,
it's
I have one question. Is this going to be just a cameo in She-Hulk, or is he going to be actually part of the plot?
I think
In the
it
show.
starts as one, and then
He's going to be part of a
joins.
whole episode,
Yeah.
or
okay.
or like multiple.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yikes.
Just based on what I've heard talk about it, so Daredevil might be a cameo, but
Matt Murdock
might be a
heavily featured. So
Oh,
this is
no.
the other article. It says Daredevil Born Again will ignore previous series lore, according to Charlie Cox. The first thing I thought of here was the thing that made that show work was that the world felt incredibly real to me because the tone being so dark, you had to really care about those characters. And the first thing I thought of is like they're going to get rid of Deborah Ann Wool as Karen Page. They're going to get rid of Eldon Henson as Foggy. They're keeping
I don't think they
Wilson.
will.
You think they'll keep?
Yep, I think they'll keep him.
They think they'll keep him? You think
Yes.
they'll get rid of Karen Page?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a redhead, so she's gone.
Yeah.
No way they keep the redhead. That's
The continued ginger side.
it continues
media.
on. So I do think that. I think that they also talk later in this interview where basically he talks about how it has to be tonally different with new stories, and like you said, a season 1, not a season 4. So using the name Born Again, I think is supposed to evoke the Frank Miller run, but it's not going to adapt that story. First of all, they
supposed
did
to be like Rebirth.
Yes, they did aspects of that run in some of the Daredevil ones, but from what I remember, the big theme of that is basically Fisk is maniacal in trying to figure out who Daredevil is and bring him down. And in this story, Karen Page, who left to become an actress, gets addicted to heroin, ends up a drug addict, and sells off the name of Daredevil for a fix, like to get a needle. And that's an incredibly dark and really, really terrifyingly hard story for them to try and adapt. And I don't think Disney will go anywhere
I don't think they'll go
near that.
near it if it's heroin. Well, maybe, but it would probably be something else. It'll be not heroin because heroin's sensitive. So
They call it not heroin.
Yeah, it's not heroin. It's something from
Gambling?
like the Kree brought it or something. It's like Kree.
So she gets addicted to an
alien
substance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get. I mean, that would be stupid, but I can see them doing that.
Yeah.
Is the Born Again title maybe hinting that they're going to continue the religious themes in the
I
next
bet it
one?
doesn't. I bet it's just that kind of sounds like reboot.
Yeah, like we're starting the character over again.
And it's a name that they recognize.
Yes.
The thing is, I think if they want to start the character over again or start it with a new tone, then why couldn't they cast him again?
Why did they cast him again?
Why couldn't they,
Why couldn't they recast him?
cast him as someone like with someone else. That's what I mean.
Oh, because he's extremely loved as that character.
Yeah. I know, but people are going to hate it no matter what, and they're going to hate it even more if it looks familiar and then doesn't live up to the past.
They do not care.
Right?
Disney does not care.
I mean, at least on its face, they're going to hate it less if you try to brand it differently, right?
They brought Fisk back in Hawkeye, and it was extremely like mediocre.
It was a different.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. No. So it's exactly what I thought, that they're not going to.
The chill wasn't there. You know?
The scene I always reference is when he decapitates the Russian dude with the car door. Yeah. Like you're not going to see that in
I don't
Disney.
understand why though. Like they did really graphic stuff in Moon Knight. Like,
I mean, they could, but even then, it's not played for the same tone.
No, it's not. And honestly, like I'm not against the idea of it at all. It would be like. We're looking at it as how is Marvel going to affect Daredevil, when the right way for them to approach it is how can Daredevil affect the MCU? Like how can we bring the grounding back down a little bit, because it's so stupid right now. Like everything sucks right now.
What would you do if you were in charge? What would you do if you were them?
If I was them, I would say, okay, let's use something like this to try to reorient our tone, or to split our tone, which seems what they're trying to do but failing. Where it's like some of our stuff is dark and some of our stuff is, Ms. Marvel.
Well, that was
if you want it to be all interconnected,
right? I know.
Make it make sense.
Right. I'm just saying, like they're trying to aim for different audiences with different stuff, but with different shows and movies, but still
not
live in the same universe.
They're actually losing. That's a problem that they're having right now. It's like you can't put She-Hulk in the same tonal category as as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, in the same category as Wanda, as the same category as Moon Knight, and they're having trouble, or even Miss Marvel. Like those are all very clearly for different audiences, but because it's all connected, the tone, people are carrying through what they think the tone should be to all of them, so they're getting pushback right off the bat for all of them. Because if they just weren't connected, it would be easier on its face to take them at face value. Yeah.
I just think it's interesting to show the same events, because that's what real life is too. It's like the same events from different people's perspectives. So even in the original Daredevil run on Netflix, when they would talk about aliens in New York City, you never saw it, but the idea of what it felt like.
No, I mean, I don't even know if I necessarily buy that they're connected. Like that they have never, like, I know Jeff Loeb and
he did say it
that they were connected
ever since the aliens came to New York City in the first episode.
I don't buy that they ever actually looked at them as
no,
connected.
They didn't. My point is just that the different tones could work in that regard, like where you have what is it?
Well,
like
street level heroes made more sense. The funniest part was that they ended up ruining, out of all the things they did, their Defender series was maybe their biggest letdown next to Iron Fist. Yeah. But it's maybe keeping street level heroes as street level heroes works, but then you get characters like a She-Hulk who could theoretically work in both tones. Yeah. Right?
Well, the tonal differences between all of these different series kind of flies in the face of Marvel trying to court an audience of superfans that consume all of the content. Yeah. Are they is that not what they're trying to do?
They may be over it. They may be perfectly fine splintering off and saying like, "Oh, you'll enjoy this."
I don't think I think you're right. I think they want the super fans that will consume all of it regardless of, how bad or how good it is. They'll just take it.
Yeah, that's totally incompatible with making She-Hulk and Daredevil make sense in the same universe.
The best thing they could have done is recast him. Like those characters, I don't think they needed to. Like I said, if they would have been able to get commit to doing Daredevil season 4 from Netflix, but put it on Hulu so that it's not attached directly to the Disney name, which they wouldn't do that either. They put all those shows, all those seasons of Daredevil are on Disney Plus, but they're just drastically different than everything else that they've made there, which is weird, but also makes perfect sense because they want to have ownership over all their content. So to me, he says tonally different new stories. I think they change all the other characters except for Fisk.
Let's see.
We're not going to see.
Hopefully not Bullseye, because that was awesome.
I think they might. Awesome. He fits more in that with that tone than Fisk does, than this version than the original version of Fisk. But even the Hawkeye version of Fisk was kind of a Joker. Not a Joker, but it was totally like it didn't look right.
It was like a cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so if you could add one thing to it, if you'd keep him the same, what characters would you keep, and are there any you'd change?
Honestly, I would change. I would probably. change the hand itself because it's a little too. I'm having trouble putting into words. No, I wouldn't. I loved Daredevil, and especially the third season. That direction, I wanted to keep going that direction. So I don't know.
Are they keeping Frank Castle? They're keeping him around, right?
I hope so.
If I remember correctly, they're keeping John Bernthal as the
I haven't
Punisher.
heard. I know last I saw, he said he didn't know.
Okay.
So
well, they would be wise to get him back, but again, I don't think they want to go near that character right now.
Yeah.
If you guys could decide on someone they could recast as Daredevil for the Disney series, then who would that be? Who would make more sense for something totally different? Maybe not something that matches the seriousness and darkness of the original series, but isn't totally slapstick either.
Can you think of someone?
I need a minute. Maybe by the end of the show, I'll have somebody.
Yeah, I'd have to think of that one. I'd have to think of that one
because I think that would have been the answer.
Yeah,
if you wanted to upset as few people as possible, which honestly upsetting people and upsetting the fan base of a certain character seems to be their go-to marketing move at this point. So I don't know if that's even what they could aim to do, right?
He does point out, he goes, well, we're not going to lose the whole tone, but we're going to add a bit of levity. And I don't believe that Disney knows how to do just a bit of levity anymore. They don't.
They don't know how to differentiate the humor that appeals to adults and that appeals to children.
Well, also what they're doing now is like the shows like She-Hulk, which have all of this stuff that's like all the jokes are bad. Those used
all
to
of them come from Twitter.
Yes, and all of that used to just be like once in a while in Marvel. Now they're all of the show rather than peppered in there throughout. So you got one?
Christopher Abbott. That's who I would use.
What's he been in?
He was the main character of the what's Mr. Handsome's George Clooney's Catch-22, and he was in Girls. Okay. Charlie in Girls, but he was almost the Batman before Robert Pattinson came in. So, and I was like, "Ooh, that's good." At the time,
make it a cannibal and hire Armie Hammer.
Yeah,
Armie Hammer.
Let's go, Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer.
I don't know who I would get. One of my first thoughts was David Giantoli from Grimm. I think he's about the same stature. Yeah. He might be a little bit shorter than Charlie Cox, but I like that. But Charlie Cox is great as that character, but they can't they're not willing to go darker with their tone. I will believe it when I see it. So we will see.
I don't like the suit.
The new one?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why not?
I know that he's supposed to be yellow, but it just for some reason I'm like,
Yeah.
Maybe I just like the old one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people got attached to the original one. I didn't even like him in the suit. I liked him when he was just in the street clothes with over his head.
Yeah, that's awesome too.
That's right too. Yeah. Also, it's going to be hilarious to see if they actually try to reinvent like the hallway scenes. I'm guessing they don't do that.
Probably not.
That might have been exclusive. Basically, what it was is they do single camera shot long scenes where he would beat up a bunch of people in a hallway, and then
so it's made to look like it's not edited.
In the first one, I think it actually was. In the first season, it probably was one shot because it wasn't intricately put together. It was like one shot, and the camera's basically just slowly panning backwards in one hallway. But then in the second season and then season 3, he basically comes down from the top of an apartment complex, and there's very clearly well done cuts that are made to hide where the cut is.
Same with the Punisher ones too.
Yeah,
Punisher ones were a lot more brutal, but they didn't have the same punch for some reason.
And they actually did the same thing in the later seasons of Arrow.
Yeah, I was about to say they copied it in Arrow.
The guy went on to be like a prolific director for that show, who did that. They had a really, really good one at the start of season 5. They had that one good season.
Down the stairwell.
Yeah, they had this one good season. Arrow had 2 really, really good season, a very, very middling season 3, an absolutely abysmal like it should be struck from the record books. There should never be
season 4.
Season 4 should be like
Neil. What's his face?
Neil McDonough.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah. That one should literally be like that thing in Men in Black where they make the memory eraser. Everyone should be allowed to have season 4 of that. I just remember the gun control episode. Yeah. And then I remember there was a really, really out of place.
The specter of a gun. That's what it's called. No.
There was a really, really out of place gun control episode. And it was just so like even like weirdo, or not weird. Okay, that's mean. Even like at that time, like the reviews that would have fallen heavily into like Access Media were like, this is weird and forced.
Yeah.
Like if they're saying it's weird and forced, it's very, very bad. And it has that season they did Artemis and it didn't work.
Yeah, it was a very weird place.
No, Artemis was season 5.
It was a very weird place to put that episode too, because it was like end of the world stakes, but hold on.
Yes.
And then gun control episode, everybody's fine for now.
Yes.
And then back to like world is at risk. It was so weird.
And it's weird too because Neil McDonough is an amazing actor,
yes, he
but
is.
he was not given anything to work with in that one.
He was still charming.
Yes.
Like still like it was like when he was on screen, you're like, okay.
And they have like Diggle's brother comes back and it's played by Eugene Bird. It's like they don't look anything alike, but it's like okay, that's fine. That season 4 was bad. Season 5 was really really good, and then it went back. I love season 5.
That's not the Mad Dog season, is it?
No, that's it's the Prometheus season.
Oh, Prometheus. Yeah. The start of it was really good.
Yeah,
I thought it ended horribly.
The Slade Wilson reveal is fantastic in that. And
It's
at the end of the what do they call it? Penultimate. You don't get to use that word every day. The penultimate episode was really really good. So my hope is that they can make season 4 of Daredevil good. But if it's really just going to be season 1 and I have to listen to Twitter jokes the whole time. It's 18 episodes long, which makes me even more scared. That means that they're gonna they have more time to screw it up.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
These days.
Yep.
I want to know: is there any kind of legal reason that they can't just continue as a season 4?
I don't know if
or
it's
is
got
this
anything
purely creative?
Creative, I think.
Direction.
I mean, there could be legal reasons
Probably.
regarding like Netflix,
writers maybe.
Yeah. But I'm not as versed as someone could be in that aspect of Hollywood. I just knew from the beginning when they're going to care. It's going to be Daredevil. But at Disney, I'm like, no, it's not.
Here's the cynical take, but it's one I'll hope for in a good way, is that all of this is posturing. Like all the stuff they're talking about is like, it's not the same thing, so that there's never any legal ramification for continuing.
And then it ends up being tonally very similar.
Yeah. And what if it's not the same.
What of the Marvel shows?
Don't sue us.
What if the Marvel shows would have given you hope that it could have ended up like that? Moon Knight?
Moon Knight, yeah. Moon Knight, WandaVision. Well, WandaVision, everything but the last episode was, I thought, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. Didn't like Falcon and the Winter Soldier very much. I don't remember. Hawkeye was fine. I thought it was fine. Like I know a lot of people hated it,
James
but I was
Bamford
was
the name of the stunt guy who became a director for Arrow. That Bamford. That's a great name.
That is cool.
Bamford. I thought Hawkeye was fine. I was like, if he doesn't make it home by the end, I'm gonna riot.
Just people were expecting something different, I think,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is very Shane Black. And I was like, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and plus also a lot of people were on guard because they didn't want to see Kate Bishop nerf nerf.
I don't think she did.
No. They did. I think that if they've learned one thing, it's like you said with Galadriel, or how do they say it?
Galadriel.
I can't say it like that. It's so pretentious.
I will not.
But like they've become a little bit more self-aware about not making women obscenely overpowered too quickly. They're like, see, look, they're like, she's really good in episode 2, not episode 1. It's fine. Like they still do it, but it's still like
sprinkled in.
Yes, it's
not really addressed.
It's more. My hope would be that over time it becomes more artfully done, even better. But I don't really have faith that it will be able to do that. So I just hope that they bring Foggy because I love that. You know who he is?
Yes, I do.
He's from Mighty Ducks.
He's from Mighty Ducks.
Yep.
He's from the Butterfly Effect.
Yes.
Don't you think the less characters they bring back, the better?
Probably, but
the less they have a chance to ruin, the better.
If they ruin the main character, they ruin it anyways. So I say go all out and just try. But I don't think they'll
throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes, but I would guess that the religious aspects go very quickly and are far less focused on because I don't think they wouldn't want to, even if they did want to do it. The religious aspects would fly in the face of the tone that I know will not be as serious as it was in the other series, right? So
they would also do it poorly.
Yes. Oh yeah. So. But I mean, I always hate when Hollywood
any attempt Disney makes at portraying something serious in tone fails anyway.
And in general, I hate when Hollywood does religion because you can feel the contempt that they have for it.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
But how did they accomplish that in the first place then?
What do you mean?
In the original series.
That's a great question.
If Hollywood hates religion so much, why was it such a neutral and maybe positive theme?
I don't know about positive, but it's never portrayed good or bad.
Okay.
It's just
how
a
is that
part
accomplished at Netflix?
I mean, at Netflix 2015, it was just before things got really, really bad in that superhero space.
Strangely, wasn't it brought by it was all brought to fruition by Stephen S. Knight, the guy who did like Uprising, the Pacific Rim, and I was like,
the guy who ruined Walking Dead in the middle.
Yeah, and it's like, how did you nail this? Like, I don't know.
You get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, I guess.
You get lucky. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.